Hello everyone. Today I thought that we would do this, everyone doing their most special accent. My most special accent is Spanish. Nathan, what is your most special accent?
I can hardly speak English.
Okay. So, Robert, what is your special accent?
Mine is a Cambridge accent that I'm speaking now.
This is not very good. What
No,
about
it's
you,
not.
Steven?
Yeah, I don't know if Californians have a special accent.
Special accent.
Mine is a
Was that Antonio with his live feed running on non-mute? I guess it was. every time. We've just learnt the new trick of how to do this. So you just have to click X on the ads, and they all go, and then you get the mute button.
It really is every time. What the hell is this? So, okay, forget it. I'm
You
not
need
doing that.
my help.
Yes.
This would have never happened on Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes.
Exactly.
So, Octina Walker, we are waiting for you. You have the link in the Skype. But if you don't want to come on because Nathan is here, then it's okay. I understand completely. Okay, so subject for today. We've been doing these talks about religion, and we have been focusing heavily on Christianity. That's mainly because that's the one we're most familiar with. The subject, we're still on the subject of religion, but we're not so much going to talk about the particulars of religion. We're going to broaden the scope, and we're going to talk about some of the tactics, the techniques used by religions, which happen to be the same techniques used by any dictatorship, by any school, by any employer, by any large group. And that's the elements of coerciveness, of social conformity, of not wanting to stand out from the crowd. Nathan,
And the ostracization of anybody who doesn't conform.
that's right. So this is the most crucial element. Now, generally speaking, flat earthers, by definition, are nonconformists. Here's the epitome of nonconformity, Ugdina Walker. Hello, Ugdina. Hello. Do you want to say hello? We can't hear you right now. And whilst you sort that out, we will carry on talking. So, conformity. Okay, what conformity does is it makes people uniform. That's what conformity is about. It's about people not standing out. And in religion, you actually have special tenets about not standing out, about humility, about piety. Really, this is what the education does. Our school education tries to make sure that people don't stand out in any way that's not approved. So you can stand out by getting great grades, but you can't stand out by asking questions, specifically questions that don't follow the agenda that's been preset. Ugdina, I think you're walking. I think you're working now.
Hello?
Hello.
Am I? Hello.
Yes. Your mic is very quiet. I will boost you here. Can you try again?
Hello, everyone.
Very quiet. Please see if you can raise the volume. So I'm going to, to the crowd. I think you're all familiar with the people here, but if anybody is not familiar, we have Robert Shortman, who spent more than 12 months in Antarctica. Now, when I say this, I don't mean he spent years there. He spent a chunk of 12 months, and then he went back there and spent a further time, this second time, whilst the BBC was there doing a program about pollution, I think, about cleaning up waste. Do you want to say hello, Robert?
Yeah, hello everybody.
There you are. And we have Stephen Chess, who's at university right now, or college, as they say in the US, studying how to cripple politicians and how to cripple financial structures. Is that not right, Stephen?
No, I'm in psychological development class and statistics class right now. But well, before that was a summer class, but I was in before it was a public speaking class.
Yes. But what you've done, some people might know you. Sorry, I'm a little bit distracted. Nathan, will you take over? I've got a cat I need to garrot.
Yeah, no worries. Maybe I think Antonio is trying to lead you to actually talk about some of the, would you call them debates that you've had on air with some famous YouTubers?
Well, I guess Stefan Molyneux is the only like famous person who I've debated. But no, during my class, I talked about Hillary and that kind of stuff, and I was surprised to find that actually the professor was all behind me. You know, like after the speech was over, you know, I killed it. You know, I pretty much memorized the whole thing, and everyone was just like, you know, because it was pretty brutal. You know, talking basically about what David's video was about. You know, the rape of the 12-year-old girl, and then, you know, the defense of him. And yeah, the professor, he was actually like backing up what I said with, you know, like he's like, yeah, this is a fact. You know what happened. You know, like Hillary actually told Bill's rape victims to be quiet. You know, that kind of stuff.
How did that all go down?
Well, there were several people in the audience who were kind of, you know, defending Hillary, and they're just like, oh, what does her other aspects of her life have to do with her politics and this and that? But I just said, it's like, well, if you have somebody who's defended a rapist and got him off with like a few months, and she's running for president, and she's got all this whole list of other things like very suspicious deaths around her and that kind of stuff, it's just kind of absurd that she's still even in the race, you know, let alone all the health problems that she's showing out now.
And let's not forget that, you know, within rape is a violent crime. You have degrees of violence. You know, you have date rape. You have rape that's classed as rape after the relationship has ended. Then you have rape of a 12-year-old girl by two men in their 40s who abuse her and beat the hell out of her. There are degrees of rape, and the one that made Hillary famous recently was the defense of two men who raped a 12-year-old. And what she did was she painted this 12-year-old girl who had been raped and left for dead as a fantasist who wanted to have sex and be violated and abused by adult men. And she managed to have the judge not allow the forensic report, the medical report. This is what Hillary Clinton did. This is what she did in her background. This is what is in her background that people would rather just put down, you know, say, yes, well, you know, defense attorneys have to defend their clients. Yes, but we also have discernment. And you can say, no, I'm not defending this, you know. And it goes back to conformity. She conformed. Part of the education system is to make people conform to ideas and to ethics, not just to behavior. The behavior will be dictated by your ethics. So this is what educational systems do. They mold your ethics so that your behavior will be the behavior that they would rather you have. So all of us failed in that none of us kind of were affected deeply enough by the ethical programming to support the system. Because let's face it,
it's the plot of a movie, so it's plot of Devil's Advocate, which is Keanu Reeves' movie, if I could say his name. And at the start of the movie, he's essentially doing the same as Hillary. He's defending a rapist. And towards the end of the movie, obviously, that particular rapist continues to commit those crimes because he's been set free by the lawyer, Keanu Reeves, who turns out to be the son of the devil.
Yes. So, God, that was an appropriate place to laugh. Let me just pretend that you've just said that. The son of the devil. So, we've got Robert, Stephen, and Udina. The subject we're covering is justice, the coercive nature of things like religion. So Udina has stepped away from various different situations which were coercive. She's a Native American. She's an American Indian. She lives in her homeland, in her ancestral homeland, and the programming that was directed towards the Native American was basically, once the Indian Wars had finished, was to say, hey, you're welcome to come and be a slave in our system. And Udina, well, tell us about yourself. You're muted.
Okay. Today's Robert's birthday, so everybody say happy birthday, Robert.
Happy birthday, Robert. I sang
Happy birthday.
I sang him happy birthday. It was the most beautiful.
How old are you, Robert?
41.
Yay! One more year before 42. The answer.
Okay. The thing for us and our religion, I prayed before the show started that I would not be unkind, say unkind things about other people or their religion or whatever. And the thing with our religion is that I've never really understood why people can't just, however they want to recognize and worship or celebrate or interact with the Creator. That's good as long as no one's hurt, and if everybody could just keep theirs to them and not push it on everyone else. And that was one of the things with the Indians when the illegal aliens came from Europe. They pushed the religion on us. A lot of, especially out here in the Southwest. I'm not from the Southwest. I'm from Appalachia, but I've lived here for a dozen years or 10 years. But they broke people down. They took, up until 1978, Indian children were taken from their homes and put into Christian schools and had their hair cut off and not allowed to speak their language. And of course, there was unspoken of sexual assault and physical assault. And so the thing that just has always puzzled me is why people want to worship in one way. That's good, but why do they support the kind of behavior that genocides people and that forces people, literally forces people to go to church or to join their religion or to get saved or get killed? So it's something that's very hard for people like me to understand that, because so many Indian people just caved in and said fine, and they joined these Mideastern religions.
You have to give your heart to Jesus in order to go to heaven. So to be saved, you must give your heart to Jesus. Well, you can take that to an extreme and then kill people if they don't.
That's
exactly.
it. And Udina just said something which is crucial. This is a Mid-Eastern religion. This religion comes from the Middle East. Now, the Middle East is a harsh environment. It's a harsh land, okay? To take a religion from a harsh land which has been developed to control those people and move it to an area where the situation is much more conducive to mutual work, to respect, a land that's less harsh. This is what we have. We have a land where the scarcity of water made people build fortresses around water sources, whereas in America, they didn't do this because there's more water. They could move simply to where there's more water. Where they were building fortresses in the Middle East, in Mesoamerica, they were building steps. They were building cities, but not fortresses. There were no fortresses because the possibility of being assaulted wasn't anywhere near as likely as it was in the Middle East, especially in the land of Israel, which is a bottleneck between Africa and the East. We have to remember this. It's a bottleneck. So
Maybe someone can bring some clarity to who they are, because so far Ukdin has referred to them as the illegal aliens, and may be beneficial to the audience if we bring some clarity to who we're actually talking about.
The invading Europeans.
Yes, the invading Europeans who didn't invade as Europeans, they invaded as Christians. This is the big difference.
Exactly.
We had Europeans, well, Scandinavians, go to Canada and North America, but they didn't invade because they didn't take a religion with them that said it was okay to kill people who think differently. In fact, their religion is pretty much, their ancient religion, the Norse mythology, is all about people being different and how to figure out how people work. That's not what the religions of the Romans were. The religions of the Romans were how to make people obey you. That's what the religions were about. Because in the same way that the Norse didn't pay tribute to their religions, if they paid any tribute, it was more like the Hare Krishna. It was by way of dancing and having ceremony, meals, family time. But the Romans had coinage, so you have to make slaves to earn those coins to pay tribute. And that's it. To do this, you have to create people who conform to your rule. And that's what this is about. It's how rules of conformity have molded the world until now, especially in the West. And basically, we're just going to try to dissect what conformity is, how it's created, how it's pushed, how to spot it, how you can find when somebody's saying, don't do this, and trying to urge you or counsel you, or trying to direct you. There's a difference, and it usually is in the wording and it's in the persistence. If somebody's trying to encourage you or advise you, they will give you the advice, but eventually they will stop. If they continue, they're trying to push you, they're trying to control you, they're trying to coerce you.
Usually it's a sign when... You go ahead, Ubadina.
Okay, I've spoken to hundreds of people from Europe, not American Europeans, but Europeans and Brits and stuff. And so many of these people, especially the young people, are going back to looking into their earth-based religions that were taken from them by the Romans and the Turks and whoever else. And they're looking back into these religions. And then when the three patriarchal religions came in, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, for me, this is my opinion, those patriarchal religions came in and took the balance out of the world. They pushed the feminine energy out, pushed the women down to the ground, pushed animals down to the ground, and they became the conquerors. They conquered the land, they conquered the religions, the women, the children, everything. And it hasn't been really pleasant for other people in the world who don't belong to one of these three religions. It's been very unpleasant.
It has. I watched the thing earlier today about protectors of the water, and it's a group of Native Americans and other people who are not Native American who have chosen to try to protect waterways that are going to be polluted by fracking. So they're calling themselves protectors. They've already started to break the mold. They're no longer protesting, they are protecting. And one of the Native Americans explains how in their culture they have the keepers. You have the keepers of the fire, the men, and the keepers of the water, the women. And these are all things that all cultures had. At a fundamental level, if you can trace back time, you'll find that these were qualities that people had. You have to, the only time you really find it now, echoed anywhere, is in astrology. Little notes of it remaining in astrology. But the truth is, the culture of the Brits, or the Germanic people, or even the Norse, they were destroyed. We only have remnants of tales from the Nordic regions. We don't have any from Southern Europe. We have very few from Russia, the former Soviet Union, East Europe, all the regions that were basically conquered. And which caused later civilizations to adopt the same techniques. They all did the same things. They destroyed the knowledge. They destroyed the keepers of the knowledge. And when we go back to times where oral tradition was how knowledge was passed on, all they had to do was kill the people who knew the stories. They didn't have to burn the books so much. Burning the books happened later on, where people were writing books. And
Talking of books, you said, I can't remember who you said it was, that called Judaism, Christianity, and Islam the people of the book. Was it you that said it? It might have been Nick.
I said patriarchal religions.
No, it was in a different conversation on a different hangout, but somebody referred to it as just the people of the book, as opposed to
book.
Yeah, so it kind of bundled all three together. In other words, saying that they're kind of all variants of the same story.
And they're all patriarchal. It's all male energy. All of it.
It's all fire. It's all fighting. It's all burning. And you need water. You can't have something that's all yang. You need yin, you know. And we do live in a dualistic world where you have good and you have bad. And if you don't find the balance between understanding which parts of black mean bad and which part of black means respite, you've fallen for a binary code where you think everything is either on or off, 1 or 0, yes or no, and that's not the nature we live in. We live in a nature where you have seeds that are not seeds. They haven't become seeds yet. They become seeds. They're planted. Eventually they sprout a root. But this splitting, this sectioning of ideas, like now it's a plant, now we can cut it, now we can shape it, now we can burn it. These ideas, which are fragmented ideas, we have these taught at school. The way systems are adopted is they're taught to the very young, and that's it. You know, you didn't do your homework, that's bad. Never mind, you didn't do your homework because. It's just you didn't do your homework, that's bad. You didn't obey. And what Udina said before about the native children being taken away from their parents and forced to go to schools, some of which they had to sleep in. They weren't allowed to go back home at the end of the day. They were forced to wear shoes. All of these things, how much forcing does a group of people or an ideology have to do before people will say, hey, that's evil? People of their own mentality who see things as good and evil, how do they not see the evil that their own mentality tells them they're supposed to be looking out for? It's just one of those things. Robert.
Yes.
Tell us stuff.
Well, I mean, my opinion is, you know, that it's such a complicated ground. I mean, especially with what's happening at the moment with, you know, in certain parts of the country, you know, you've got different religious bodies taking over large swathes of country and, you know, influencing, you know, parts of London and other parts of the UK and all over places, you know. So you've got these bodies of organisations that are, you know, nothing to do with certain religions, but, you know, certain other religions other than what you're speaking of. You know, these places are, you know, these people are actually, you know, enforcing their own things. And, you know, even in some places in London, it's law, those religions, you know. So just in that circumstance itself, you know, Christianity hasn't done anything like that as such in respect to what's happening at the moment with other religions taking over and doing other things in other areas. So, you know, it is muddy waters. And I don't know, what do you think about that? You know, because you've got places in the UK where, you know, you wouldn't be welcomed in if you did the wrong thing or you drank alcohol or did that type of thing. You know, they're going to be looking at you in different light.
Robert, will you pull your mic down a touch from your lips?
Is
We're
that
just
better?
getting a bit of it's true. The UK is a melting pot. It's a multicultural culture, which basically means it's been ethnically cleansed. Ethnic cleansing, you see, most people think ethnic cleansing, they think of Sarajevo, they think of places where one group of people has killed another group of people. And we've had this idea of ethnic cleansing basically propagandized into this idea of murders, of mass graves. It's like, no, ethnic cleansing doesn't happen just like that. That's how mass murder happens. Ethnic cleansing happens by taking a race and blending it so that that race no longer exists. This is what was done to the Native Americans. That there are still Native Americans around now. Basically, it's just amazing to me. It just shows the resilience of people. But this is what was done after the Spanish Civil War. This is what they tried to do to my people. I'm Catalan. I come from a culture where community is incredibly important. We're helping out. You don't help out to be better. What makes you better is basically you being able to sleep at night because you have helped out. It's just a different mentality. You don't want kudos. You don't want to run after the bulls, to get that ribbon, to ask your beloved to marry you. You don't want to do that. You want to help out. You want to be valued because you help out. And if you can't help out because you're disabled, then you're going to be valued because of what you can contribute by way of either contributing in whatever you can do, or by making people feel better because they can look after you, and some people get a sense of reward from looking after you. It's an ancient culture. I showed Patricia some of the things that they do. If one of you takes over, I'm going to pull up a video and show you what an ancient culture can do with support. So Nathan, would you take over? I
was just going to ask Dina what her education was like when she was really young. You're on mute at the moment, Dina.
Thanks, Nathan. What do you mean, my formal education? I went to military schools all my life. My father was a lifer in the military, but I got trained by elders and my older people also. So by going to military schools, I wasn't training to be a soldier. I was the dependent of a military man, and all of our schools were military. So we got, brainwashed to the max. But I'm someone that it's very hard to brainwash me. I don't know why, but mind control doesn't seem to work on some people, and I'm one of them.
So what about your informal education then with the elders?
Oh, that's stuff that I can't really talk about. But I was trained in traditional ways and taught to be reverent and to accept everyone's religion, allow them to find a peace in whatever religion that they want. But when people tell me that I'm going to hell, first of all, I don't believe in hell. But when people tell me I'm going to hell for not accepting Jesus in my life, I think that's fairly ludicrous. First of all, if Jesus was a person, and if he did say some of the things that I've read, they were lovely things and very nice things. But I don't really see too many people living by that. If you go by YouTube, some of the most vicious attacks I've seen have been done by people who say they're Christians. On the other hand, there's really wonderful, nice people who are Christians as well. But it's, I learned to stay by myself, and we were taught as children never to tell white people the truth about anything. Regarding our culture, regarding our religion, regarding anything like that. And we have different names. We have names that we use with white people. We have names that we use in ceremony. We have names that we have with us and the Creator. And we have names that we use for the government.
Right, we have one too.
Yeah, I've got one. It's not very nice. You beat me to it.
A couple.
But we're taught to respect everything. My day, I didn't need a book to tell me how to be a good person. My gut will tell me if I'm being a jerk, and I can amend that. But for me, my day is if we have a lot of bugs here in the desert, and if there's a big old cockroach running across the floor, I get a jar, I catch him, I have a little chat with him, and put him outside. Um, when I'm out in the garden, I talk to my plants. I talk to all plants, trees, cactus. I talk to all animals. I speak a little bit of a whole bunch of different animals. Um, I treat the earth that way. I treat people that way. And I told you this once a bit back, Antonio, my life is a ceremony. Who you see right here, right now, this is the way that I am in, off of YouTube. Walking down the street. I walk down the street with my dog, and one would think I was the mayor. Everybody beeps and waves, and I live in a little one-horse town. But we're taught respect and reverence and not to hurt other people. Bullying is not a concept I understand. I don't understand it. And competition, I don't understand. I never liked competitive games, and if I liked a boy or a man, and some other woman wanted him, and he gave the slightest inkling that he wasn't totally interested in me, I'm like, bye, don't let the door hit you in the ass, because I'm not competitive. I like when other people win. I love when my friends have something good happen to them, or I love it. I don't go, oh man, I should have won that lottery, or why did they deserve that? I'm a better person than them. We don't play all that stuff. We try to.
This is the support. So you have cultures that work with mutual support, where the integral quality of that culture is support, and then you have cultures where the foundation of that culture is competition, is being better than. So I've queued the video I was looking for. I'm going to display it now. This is am I sharing, Nathan?
Yes.
Yes. So this is what they do in my home region, which is Catalonia. This is an ancient practice. They've been doing this they don't know how far back they've been doing this. It does come from the feudal era of castles, breaching castles. This was how my people would stop war from happening, by stopping the nearest castle from being set up, or the nearest castle that was set up from functioning, because you need garrisons to form an army that would then go and conquer. So this is what they used to do. They would go at night quietly, build a tower of humans to the top, climb over, and there you go. Open the gate, finish that castle. Now, you'll note that everybody at the bottom here who seems to not be participating, they're actually helping the people at the bottom of this tower to keep their strength, to keep the integrity. And you'll note that in this tower there will be men and women. Now this is ancient. This is not, oh, we need to be modern and include women. No, they've always used women. They've always used the people who are most appropriate for the job. At the end of the tower, the final rung is a child. Now, this tells you this community respects children. The children respect this community. The mutual respect between the very strong, sturdy, the very flexible, the very agile, all of the qualities are admired and respected. And this culture, the Franco era, tried to destroy. Now this is still happening today. They still make these castles today. It's a traditional thing. But Franco tried to ethnically cleanse Catalonia. He brought people from the rest of Spain to Catalonia, made all of the Catalan festivities and rituals, basic things like greeting in Catalan, good morning, illegal. So this was illegal. Talking Catalan was illegal. Writing Catalan was illegal. Anything Catalan was illegal. Street names, plaza names, anything Catalan was removed and destroyed. And they tried to destroy the culture, because this culture is a mutually supportive culture. It is not a culture of competition. And there you go. This is what they do. This is ethnic cleansing. When we see it in the UK, we don't see gangs mass murdering. We see basically the killing of the British way. Now, there are qualities of the British that are dreadful, but that's not the quality of the person in the street. That's the quality of the elite of Britain, which is the same as the quality of the elite of Germany, the elite of the US, that competition. So let me stop screen sharing. I just wanted to share that as a basically as a tribute to my nature, but as a great example of what community can do and how community can affect generations afterwards.
It was absolutely beautiful. I loved it. That was amazing.
The children in it, I grew up there. I know what it's like. I have family there. The children grow up feeling respected, and they respect their elders. The older people respect the children. They know that children need to play. They know that children need to run, but they also know that children need boundaries. So if a child is misbehaving, any adult can correct that child. Nobody will accuse the adult of, you know, crossing a line. Nobody will do that, because the adult is correcting the child. Everybody has common sense. So this is what happens when you have a culture that has a system of support, of mutual support. And let's not forget, the reason for the Spanish Civil War, which kind of went a bit underreported because a big freaking great war, the Second World War, happened, is that the Catalans said, I think we're going to work without banks. That's what happened. They said, you know what, we figured out we all need food, and we all need shoes, and we all need enterprise, we all need fish, we can all just share it. That's what they did. And the banks didn't like that, so they hired Franco and gave him an army of mercenaries, went and at school leaving time, killed a bunch of children in Madrid, shouting Visca Catalunya, which means long live Catalunya, a false flag, and that's basically what started the Spanish Civil War. That's a very quick little synopsis. There's a lot more details, lots of political intrigue and stuff, but that's what happened in the street. So it's important that with the Flat Earth, we see the people who are supportive, and it's really easy to support someone who's supportive. It's a pleasure. Even if that person is not supporting you, if you see that that person is supporting others, and that overall what's being done is of benefit, is, you know, you're aligned with it because you can see where it's going, then great. It's not anti-human, you know, it's pretty much pro-human. But the things that are anti-human, some of the elements that we've seen that Dina pointed out, that some of the most horrible things are being done by people who paint themselves with a certain colour. And
well, that's a nice segue. Can I jump in here, Antonio? So you say anti-human, and the externalization to a good or evil force is anti-human. So it dehumanizes a person when you take away from whatever they have done that is fantastic, if you say that that is God that's done that. And equally, when you say, well, I've done this terrible thing, but it's actually the devil that led me astray, that was working through me. Well, no, you just have to accept responsibility for your own actions rather than attributing them to some evil force. And I think that's what Christianity seems to do. It's a great spell. It stops you realizing your own inner ability, and at the same time lets you externalize your evil actions. Not only that, it tells you that you get carte blanche forgiveness for whatever actions you may have done, so long as you accept Jesus into your life.
And the worst thing is, it says, like you just said, whatever action you do, as long as you're killing that baby for Jesus, it's okay, because that baby is an Indian baby or an African baby or a whatever baby. You know, was going to grow to be a heretic. We have exactly the same in Israel right now with certain type of Jews. He said Jews. There are Jews in Israel who walk around, I've seen this, with T-shirts. The T-shirt has the sight from a sniper rifle, okay, a diagram of a sight. And in the sight is the image of a pregnant Palestinian. And the slogan says, 1 shot, 2 kills. And they sell these T-shirts. They wear these T-shirts. These tend to be the least educated Israelis, the lower class Israelis. These are the Israelis who move into the newly taken Palestinian land. Because the way things work in Israel is this. The Israeli government attacks itself, says, we were attacked by those people. We better destroy that neighborhood. So they go, they destroy that neighborhood. First, they tell the people in that neighborhood, hey, we're going to destroy your neighborhood on Wednesday at 5 p.m. You might want to leave. People that haven't, they get killed. Then the Israelis say, hey, we gave them plenty of warning. What they're doing? We told them we were going to demolish it. So they then build structures. They pay $20,000 per head. Sorry, $12,000 per head to go and take these apartments. Those people are the ones who wear this kind of T-shirt. The people who are facing the Palestinians. The people that take Palestinians up to the mountain because they too join the IDF and beat their brains out whilst people film it on a phone. Okay? Now this is the mentality of a people who have been told by their peers that God said that land is theirs. God said this. Now, can we imagine if somebody just turned up now and said, hey, God told me that your shoes that you're wearing are mine? We'd say, what's wrong with you? And this is the seed, the basis of Christianity. This idea, God said, you can have that little bottleneck, that place where you can charge people just to go through, you know, the entrance to the cinema or the disco, you can have that place. That's yours. They say, oh, wow, that's it. This is the basis for Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Because Islam is a Judeo-Christian faith. Let's not forget that.
The people of the book.
Say again?
The people of the book.
That's it. That's it. And right now we have, you know, Christians against Muslims. Oh, what a tragedy. Oh, what a horror. Oh, what is this? These are Christian, Judeo-Christian, Islamic faith. They're all the same root. They all say Moses was great and true. Abraham was great and true. Jesus was great and true. And their respective gods said, you can have this. To the Jews, you can have this land. To the Christians, you can have these souls. And to the Muslims, you can have these new orders on how to run your life. There you go. It's very, when you boil it down, it's patently false. But people think it's true because there are good elements woven in there. You know, sense of camaraderie, the sense of support. Oh, it's okay, you can kill those people. You're doing it for a good reason. The same as the military.
This is such a interesting time with everything happening, and something I don't quite understand is that we were all seer earthers not very long ago, and it was quite shocking at first. Whoa, wait a minute. Everything has to be looked at. We have been lied about everything. So why, if you're very devout in your Christian or Jewish or Islam faith, why not look into the roots of your religion? I've given the names of these books before. I'll give it again. One of them is Caesar's Messiah by Joseph Atwell. Caesar's Messiah. And what it is, it talks about the Roman conspiracy to create Jesus to keep people down. And another one that I would strongly recommend is God and His Demons by Michael Parente. If we are waking up to everything and we want to look at everything and see where we've lied, that means everything. Everything. And if we look at the horrors that these religions have devastated the world with, maybe everyone should look at it.
You're spot on, and it was a great comparison when you drew it to the waking up to the ball, because of how that happens. So we are pointing out to people that the pictures aren't real. It's just a belief system. It's just a religion. It's not actually based on fact. Here's the facts. It's flat. Here's the measurable and repeatable experiments. It's flat. Here's the debunking of every single proof they give you in maths for the globe, because it's flat. We can do this, and this is what people have woken up to, but then they'll turn around in the same breath and say something that is based on a faith and tell you that you have to accept it on faith, and that you're destroying their life because you're taking away their belief. It's like, well, hold on, we've just pointed out that the globe was just a belief, and you've accepted that quite happily. But unfortunately for us, there's a lot of flat earth proof tied right there in the book. So you don't need to look at the laser tests. Forget that. Just look at whatever chapter, whatever, and that'll tell you that it's flat, and that's enough. You can then look at the flip side of the coin that is we talk about on almost every Mechanics of the Fourth Wall show, the paradigm, which is that all of the people in charge are looking at the same book and worshipping the devil and cutting the throats of babies and drinking their blood and doing all of these horrible things, which are in complete opposition to what you've been taught and indoctrinated with, get them while they're young, in school. It's the antithesis of what you've been taught. It's the bad side. And then you dig a little deeper and find that they actually think that it's all good, that that's actually perfectly acceptable, and that they're actually on the path of light. Because they want the same externalization that the Christians want. They want that good power to come to them, and the whole thing takes you away from your own inner ability, your own natural aims, and not aims, your own natural ability to do good or do evil. We all are capable of absolutely horrific things. We just have to take the initiative to do them, and when we do, for a Christian, you can say, oh, the devil worked through me, I've now accepted Jesus. Well, no, that person's still just a complete bastard, just as evil as they ever were. Leopards don't change their spots, as I've learned through life. I don't know if Dina, you'll agree with me, but you just have to stop externalizing your own actions. And flat earth for me has brought me to this far more, the acceptance of seeing what's the evidence of your own eyes, seeing that things are created, leads you to only one conclusion, the creator. And it's not a guy with a beard. Antonio and I earlier were talking about Greek mythology and Zeus, and it's always I'm going to try this word, anthropomorphized version of any power that is out there. So you've got a guy holding lightning. Well, no, there's no guy, but lightning definitely exists and is created by a force. Now, those combination of forces could be described as God, if you want to attribute anything. I don't know if Antonio will agree, but we can't. It's just too big. It's just too incomprehensible at the moment for us. But the things we can comprehend, we try and prove in the arena of flat earth. But then to step one step sideways and go, take all of this stuff on belief, though, it just doesn't jive. We have to reach a point where we go, no, as Dina said, we've got to look at it all, and it's going to be painful for a lot of people. The people who have said, no, I have personally experienced Jesus in my life, and for you to say, well, no, you have had that experience, just put a full stop at the end of it. You don't need to take on board all of these writings, just because it's written, and you've accepted and externalized something that has happened in your life, for better or for worse, as being some third party. And in the case of Christianity, it's dudes. It's these two dudes. If you're on the side of the devil worshippers, you're talking about some dude that's going to give you lightning fingers. And if you're a Christian, it's some dude that's going to give you the power of healing nature of God when if you're a pastor touching somebody on the head and making them walk. But that's not that guy making that happen. Oh, no. That guy's not special. No, that's the power of God working through him. In the same way, the power of God got people to write the Bible. Well, no one had the hand of God up them. It was actually man that wrote it. Now, we don't like to, or we don't want to, because of our indoctrination, just put a full stop and go, man wrote that. Well, aren't men clever? Really clever when it comes to the Bible. But no. It's God. We can externalize it. It's clever because it's written by the all-powerful. No. Just put a full stop. Men wrote the book. Men are really clever. They can do amazing things. They can manipulate words to such a degree. It's such a fascinating topic. Neural linguistic programming, getting people to do stuff just with the power of words. Sorry, I've got a right rant, Antonio.
And then they can upgrade those things with a different thing called dogma, which isn't specifically written there. You can't really question it. So, for instance, God protects the Pope, apart from when he might be driving around in a vehicle that needs bulletproof glass. Then God protects the Pope by obviously making bulletproof glass. It's like, oh, that's very clever. And the updating of the story, the updating of how things work. We have this gesture, okay? I'm going to do it with this. Everybody who's been to Mass has seen this. Holding up the bread that represents the body of Christ, the Eucharist. Oh, give it a cool name, Eucharist. This gesture, holding up, this is a freaking ritualistic, magical gesture. I went to a christening where the priest explained that the white of the cloth that were wrapping the baby in represented the light of Jesus. It's like, no, it's just, excuse my French, a fucking white piece of cloth. It's not light blended into fabric. It's a freaking white cloth. That's what it is. So we have the upgrading of details, as things progress, we upgrade the details. This is what the religions do. And let's not forget one thing, for all the Christians who are saying, I'm a flat earther because the Bible says so. Well, guess what? The Jews, their Bible says so too. Their Torah says that the earth is flat. And so do the Muslims. I don't know if anybody pays attention to what Muslims are doing, but they're saying, hey, we've been saying all along the earth is flat. Okay, they are ahead of Christians. They're saying, we have been saying all along the earth is flat. It says it right here in the Quran. Yes, in the Quran. All along, it's been saying it all along. We're ahead of those guys because we're the latest version of religion. It's like, no. Your book was written by the same kind of people that wrote the other books. That's all it is. So all of these three religions follow the same story. And that story, the source of that story, is an ancient civilization that none of them really understood, that said the earth was freaking flat, like the Mayans.
And
now,
guess what? Got to interrupt, because we've got the same thing going on now with the globe. So we've got this ancient 2,000 year old ago story of men and their proof of the globe, their sticks in the ground, all of this stuff from ancient history that's just told to us, that's just accepted stories. It's just a belief system. That's all it is. It's just the new religion.
So it's exactly the same. And so all it takes for people to just accept something blindly is to just not question it. That's all. It's really simple. Don't question whether or not Santa Claus is real. You get the presents. You know the answer. Don't question whether or not your experience was indicative of a guardian angel or Jesus or not. Just don't question it. It obviously was. Just say it, as obvious as Santa Claus.
That's the best ever comparison. So if you really want to annoy a Christian, when they start telling you, well, my belief is now been affirmed by what you have said, rather than, taking on board anything we've said at all. Say, well, okay, well, your belief is no different to the belief in Santa. The words are the same words and have the same meanings. There's no difference. But one is an accepted lie that we feed our children. The other is an accepted truth that we feed our children. Well, unfortunately, they're both beliefs. There's no way around that, no matter what you say. It seems to me that in all the comments and all the people who've talked to me about this, they will throw the very best defense we have against this Christianity, this religion, whatever you want to categorize it and pigeonhole it as, is that you say, well, it's a belief. And they will say it back to you. Well, it's my belief. How dare you question my beliefs? Well, they're beliefs, though. Well, but I have my faith. But it's just faith. Look up the word faith in the dictionary. But my faith is stronger. Well, this is nonsense. You just go round and round in circles with them using your best defense against you when they actually quote it back to you because it's right there on the cover of what it actually is. It's a faith. It's a belief system.
The same way as with the globe and with NASA, you can see the gibberish. You can see the nonsense with NASA. You can just listen and question and go, that's where you just slipped in the bullshit. I saw that. So what you did just there, you said you can create this meteorite, this big comet. You just said you can literally create a new comet. Using the words, I can literally create a new comet. They actually said this. Go look back through my videos. One of the guys talking at some university said those actual words. With this software, we can literally create a new comet spinning through space. Now, do you want to hear how this comet sounds? Play the sound, and they play the sound that this comet makes. And later they say, you've just heard the actual sound this comet makes. Not really, just heard an audio representation of the radiation. So it's just straight there, bullshit, a little bit of truth. Bullshit, little bit of truth. You're going to hear a sound. You hear a sound. Oh, the rest of what he's saying must be true, because he just said we were going to hear a sound, and then we heard a sound. So with the religions, they say, but my faith has been bolstered by my belief that Jesus is real. It's like, well, the word faith and belief are pretty much interchangeable, you know. It really is, you know. Do you believe that X? Yeah, I believe that. You can say, I have faith at X. It is pretty much interchangeable. So my belief is bolstered by my belief. My faith is bolstered by my faith. If you run out of faith, because you start questioning things, then God is just pulling away his kindness that he's been sheltering you under, where you've enjoyed faith in him. He's pulling it away, making you question things, only to bring it back to you threefold. And it's just like, oh gosh, how do people swallow this? We're living in 2016.
Well, it's about the burden of proof as well. Sorry to interrupt, Antonio. We were hoping to have that Scottish guy, I've forgotten his name, on tonight, because he did a really cracking video about the burden of proof. Now he's obviously talking about some debate about globe Earth versus flat Earth in terms of burden of proof, and the same principles apply when you talk about faith and religion. You know, I've got people telling me you've done nothing to disprove that Jesus existed, and it's like, well, no, again, you're missing the title. You know, you're taking it on faith, so no proof required. Nobody's saying this is absolute certitude. And
the thing is, sorry, Nathan. The thing is, it's not even that there's anything wrong with faith or belief. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever, unless it coaxes you into doing evil. Now, it's never going to say, we are a great religion. Look at all the good that we do, which is all done by human beings, but never mind that. Look at what we do. God, through us, does these things. Now, we better go and kill those people over there. They're not going to say it like this. They're going to, you know, incrementally increase the hatred for those people. You're going to demonize them. Demonize. Make into demons. Put into your scenario of religion and religious wordage. Demonize those people.
Yeah, sorry, I'll dumb that down a bit. Send them to hell.
Yes, but in order for evil deeds to be done by a large group of religious people, the religious people have to believe that they're doing a good deed. Never mind the screams of the witches and the children that are burnt at that pyre. The screams are their souls going to hell or to heaven. It depends whether the pious archbishop sat there is saying, I think that scream means that person is sorry and they're going to go to heaven. I think that scream, yeah, that means their soul is entering hell. You know, but the point is, doesn't matter what your belief is. If it directs you to good deeds, then great. If it doesn't direct you at all, then great. If it directs you to evil deeds, like saying nasty things about people, then maybe start questioning it. That's it. You know, you don't need to question it if everything's fine, but don't pretend like your religion is, you know, whiter than white, because it isn't. there isn't a single religion on this earth that is whiter than white, other than obviously Gandalf the White, which is why I worship him. It's true. It's true. He did come back extra white, so yeah. Robert.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm just thinking. I'm extremely tired at the moment, so I'm just kind of.
Do you want to drop out?
Yeah, hopefully I can at some stage. I was just about to type. I'll put it in this. This is what I said. I'll put it in there now. Yeah. So there we go.
Okay. Feeling shattered. Yeah, dude. You know, just you're not forced to be here. This is
No,
not
I
a
appreciate
religion.
it. I love the invite. Thank you. I do.
Yeah, but this is not a religion. You don't have to stay here past the point you want to. You know,
Yeah.
enjoy the chat or enjoy going to sleep, whatever you
Yeah.
do.
No, I'm gonna head to bed. But yeah, thanks to everyone for.
But before you go, Robert, just if you can summon the energy, you've got
Yeah.
a great hangout coming up about psyops. Can you just give that a plug?
Yeah, it's coming on Thursday, kind of thing. So I had to kind of alter the name because I think they were onto the name that I put in it previously. But yeah, so it will be interesting information. Put it that way.
What was the former name?
That might kind of affect it. So I'm going to leave it till the day.
Right.
I'm going to be sneaky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Keep
yeah,
like that.
it's going to be a good one. And then what I'm going to do is start by indexing stuff through and reading it out, and then going through it like that, and the interesting information within that psyop and from what it is. So if anybody paid attention to what it said previously, they'll know what was on that, and then how it changed. So yeah.
Okay.
That's in about 5 days' time. That's this Thursday.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So that's going to be an interesting one, but I've got a bit of a break in between. So, but yeah, I'm going to have a lay-in tomorrow on my birthday. But yeah, thanks for all the birthday wishes. It's appreciated.
Enjoy it.
Good to see you.
Pardon, sorry?
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, Nathan, and Udina, and everyone. Yeah. Take care. Good
Peace,
night.
Robert.
See you later, man. So, Nathan, I think now is a perfect opportunity to discuss the coercive nature of YouTube and then the recent update.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know how relevant it's going to be to us because I was thinking about it. If you start suggesting that YouTube, that flat Earth is controversial in any way, it doesn't toe the standard line, which is to say that you ridicule flat Earth. It's a ludicrous idea to consider the Earth flat. And if you stop monetizing that because it's controversial, then it's almost a nod to saying that it's not stupid, that, maybe you shouldn't look at this in all seriousness, not look at this. I mean, have any of you guys heard about the subtle rule changes that are almost meaningless in terms of how blanket they are? Have either of you heard of this, Dina or Stephen?
No.
It seems like the general thing from the government, just blanket everyone, you're all terrorists, you're all bad, you're not allowed to talk amongst yourselves,
Sure. I mean, maybe I should read it out. I'll dig it out and actually read what the policy change said. But it's a form of censorship, and Antonio and I had to lead Antonio for an hour. Not an hour, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but for a long period of time to get him to say it isn't censorship, because they're not stopping anybody talking about anything. It's much more clever than that. So they're just saying, if you choose to, well, I'll read out what the content that is considered inappropriate for advertising. So it's specifically monetizing videos that have this particular content. So content that is considered not advertiser friendly, in quotes, includes, but is not limited to, first point, sexually suggestive content, including partial nudity and sexual humor, which seems pretty much fair enough and standard par for the course stuff. Violence, including display of serious injury and events related to violent extremism. Inappropriate language, including harassment, profanity, and vulgar language. promotion of drugs and related substances, including selling, use and abuse of such items, and the last one, which I think is the most relevant, controversial or sensitive subjects and events, including subjects related to war, political conflicts, natural disasters and tragedies, even if graphic imagery is not shown. So that's the full list of all of the policy changes that YouTube have introduced, and they can demonetize your video. Now, I know, Antonio, you nipped off for a second, but I was trying to explain to the audience at home that I led you down a path to say this isn't censorship before saying it is. You know, now you've conceded that it's not censorship. It really is. And the only analogy I like cars. So the way I tried to explain it to someone else, I forget who, was to say that if you had a garage that was an all-in-one garage that did everything, but they charged a little bit more to tune cars to make them go faster, but they also did servicing. And a law came out that said, you can have a tuned car, you can drive it wherever you like, but the person who tunes it is not allowed to be paid for tuning it. So he can tune it, you can do it all, you can tune to cars all day long, but he's not allowed to charge for tuning. All that will happen is that garage will stop doing tunes that make cars go faster. They will just stick to servicing. So nobody will have a tuned car, even though they're allowed to have tuned cars. And you will have the guy who's a DIY car guy who tunes his car badly, and they all blow up. You know, the professionals will stop doing it. So that's kind of the best analogy I could come up with for how it is censorship. Yes, you can still talk about war or sensitive political issues, but ultimately you can't make money from them. So the people who are doing this in any professional way are stopped from doing it, which kind of makes you question what will happen to people like Alex Jones. But there we go.
Well, you have free speech zones. So you can go and protest, or you can go and proclaim, or you can go and cause any kind of trouble, as long as you go over there where nobody can see you or hear you. Okay, that's the free speech zone over there. So the way a soft dictatorship works, they don't say new censorship rules. They bring it in slowly, quietly, sneakily. They say, first of all, we're not going to allow any kind of monetization of anything that we don't want you to discuss. Number one, that's what we're going to do. No monetization. We can stretch that no monetization across the board. We can say, well, you're not allowed to make money from these things, and then if you're going to do these things, you're going to be fined. And then if you're going to do these things, you're going to be fined and imprisoned. And this is how it grows. First, it starts slowly. It seems reasonable. You can't discuss war, and you can't discuss war crimes. You can't discuss Israel and Palestine. There you go. No more discussion of Israel and Palestine. You can discuss it, of course, but you're going to be over there discussing it where nobody can hear. And this is how YouTube used to be free. Nobody used to make money from YouTube. Now people can make money. But you have elements in YouTube where you can do stuff, you can do any kinds of gibberish you want, and you can do all kinds of really cool things. But then you can have your channel pulled down, like ODD. ODD had his channel pulled down. His videos were really cool. He kind of went a little bit off the rails once it was pulled down because, you know, cunning people are cunning. So now, eventually, you can't talk about these things, which all kind of sound reasonable. Then it's going to get to, you're not really allowed to you're not allowed to discuss, say, sexual deviancy and children. So you can't discuss pedophilia. You can't discuss who and how pedophiles behave, what tactics they use, what they do, who is and isn't a pedophile. There you go. You've just you've said you can use YouTube. We will monetize YouTube. My YouTube was monetized without me doing a single thing to monetize it, by the way. I took over monetizing it because freaking YouTube did it for free. They did it on my videos. I didn't tell them to do it. So And the way they do it, by the way, if anybody's interested, if you use anything that you've got from YouTube or from anywhere else, where it's been monetized elsewhere, your video, you might have used 3 seconds of something that's monetized, your video is now monetized, and your video is earning that person money. You might totally object to monetizing, but that's how it
I
works.
see that as perfectly acceptable.
Yes, but this is what the things they're doing is this. Now this is the scenario. Now you can't discuss any of these things. You can, but if you do, you won't be, eventually, it won't be that you won't make money, it's you won't be listed. People will only find you if they know the actual title. It will increase, it's incremental. That's how it works. They never say, this is our end goal. The end goal is you can't criticize any organization that is doing anything dark or negative. You won't be able to criticize or show any footage of any abuse at all. You won't be able to voice any kind of concern. This is the point. Now it started now. We think, because we have experience of nefarious organizations reaching ever more, that it's going to continue. It won't. This is simply a ploy, because all that will really happen if it continues much longer is the Chinese will make a website where they will monetize everything, and all YouTube content will be able to go on their website and be completely make more money, have more trade with the little Chinese adverts in English but also in Chinese, and make a freaking fortune, and everybody who's engaged with it saying anything they want will make a fortune. That's what will happen. But in the meantime, if people panic and think, oh my God, the end of the world, September 23rd again. No, there's no end of the world. The world is freaking flat. And the guy that, the thing, I just said the guy. I did actually mean the Lord of Gandalf. But the Great Mystery didn't make this so it could be pilfered away by a bunch of idiots. This thing is permanent, at least as far as we know. This is a continuous situation. And the same way as the Mayans came and went, the Olmecs and the Toltecs and all these people that just arrive, fully developed, do stuff, bugger off. Same thing that this world has been here before we were here, thinking we're all brilliant because we have electricity. This world is going to continue afterwards. We can stay here, make this place better, or we can stay here and keep things the way they are, waiting for our Lord to come down and make things better for us. And I urge people to stop thinking that our Lord is going to come down and make things better, and instead start thinking of how you can make things better yourself. If it's through YouTube, making people question things or helping people to feel supported if they are questioning things, or however else you want, in your personal life, however you want. But please stop thinking that some supernatural force is going to come here and make everything better, especially if it's a force that's supporting the rape and murder of Palestinians.
Yeah, but also for those same YouTubers who decide that they should come on and call other people transvestites, you know, it bugs me because the agenda that they are trying to point out, a bit like what we talked about with Russian vids, when he's highlighting the Freemasonic agendas and the Luciferian programming and the subliminal messages, in essence, he's propping up that system by his own his spin that he puts onto what he says with Christianity. So, you know, it's in essence, it's you can't but help prop up these things when you talk about them. It's unfortunate, but it's absolutely true. It's unavoidable.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I was just replying to Billbox, who's saying that if we want him to come and clarify stuff about Jesus, you can't clarify anything about Jesus, unfortunately. You believe a story. If you want to clarify things about Jesus, I can clarify things about Gandalf. It is just a story, you know, no matter what ceremony, no matter how many of these you do, which, by the way, is an inverted cross. Dunk, 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 dunk. This line is longer than that line. So how many times have you done an inverted cross, I wonder? You're going to burn in hell. So people offering to come and clarify things about Christianity, it's like, dude, you really are talking to somebody who is hearing, let me clarify a made-up story for you. I know the story. I know it a little bit better than you think I know it, which is how I know it's just a story. Look into it. Look outside of the book at other things, like Udina said, take down, go back to earlier where Udina mentioned a couple of books. Look at this. There are scholars who have dedicated their life to finding the source of things, and they've found them, and they've written about them, and you don't know what they've written. So,
Can I tell you what Wiki says?
Mm-hmm.
So Wiki says, belief is a state of mind which a person thinks something to be the case, with or without there being empirical evidence to prove that something is the case with factual certainty. Another way of defining belief sees as a mental representation of an attitude positively orientated towards the likelihood of something being true. So, yeah. So people who want to come on and confirm what, Jesus was or wasn't, well, it's there in the title. Belief. Your belief in that is good for you. Good for you.
One of the things I've been saying lately is that you, Nathan, and Antonio, and Jaron, and Missa are belief busters. Like we have the globe busters, but we also have the belief busters.
Udina, can I have the name?
Yes.
Yes, right, Nathan, I get that name. You've got Mechanics of the Fourth Wall, I've got Belief Busters.
It's already been debunked.
What I really find clarifying and hopeful is that people are talking about these things. And you have all these truther people. We're all very curious people. They will talk about the queen being a reptilian and they saw her tongue go out 4 feet. And they'll talk about all this different stuff. And you bring up flat earth and they go, well, that's really retarded. I can't believe anybody would believe in flat earth. And we carry through with religion the same thing, these organized religions. Some people will go to their grave with that belief and not let go, and that's okay, it's their life. But other people, all that these belief busters are suggesting is that we have been lied to about everything. So look, nobody wanted to look at the flat earth at first. What? We're going to debunk this. So for people who have these deep beliefs in religion, just look at them. Don't just go by your faith and belief. I'm sure that the God of your understanding would want you to question this stuff and want you to look beyond just what has been told over and over and over. Stories, Roman stories.
You can't say Roman.
I can't?
Well, you can really. So
but they're Roman stories.
They are. That's why, 2,000 years ago, the guys running the world were the Romans. How old are these stories? 2,000 years. Oh, and people will say, no. Some of the story is thousands of years older. So can you point to one? Are you going to say the stories that were written on the walls of Egypt? The stories that talk about a God that isn't Yahweh? Which stories are older, talking about your God? So, this is what you have. All the gods, your God, at the same time as the Romans. So please, anybody who wants to make a video and explain all of this, knock yourselves out. Don't think that we're ignorant, though, and don't think that we'll listen to you go, oh, damn. This is what, and this, some people are going to think I'm an asshole for this. That's all right. Sometimes I am an asshole. If you need a crutch like Jesus to make your way through life, you're a second-rate human being. A first-rate human being doesn't need those crutches. They do kind deeds for the deeds themselves, for the kindness, not because they had some book that told them how to behave, but because they kind of figured out how to behave as human beings. Let's face it, animals don't have a Bible on how to behave, and they're beings on this plane as well. And you think, oh, you're all superior because you're a human being and you can read and write. Well, animals can do stuff too that you can't do. Do they have a Bible? Did God make those things just as a kind of automaton? No. And this is it. This is how it goes, guys. And unfortunately, we have a load of Christians out there who are thinking that we're just criticizing Christianity. We're criticizing religion altogether. You can have ceremonies, you can have beliefs, you can have everything, as long as it doesn't dictate evil, in inverted commas, behavior. And if you look back at your history of your religion, you will see evil behavior that was dictated by your book, not by some evil pope or by some evil imam or by some evil rabbi, by the book that those rabbis and imams and popes were using. The same book that you think was written by God. It's like, sorry guys, I think at one point it's going to be a case of a splitting into the realist flat earthers and the fantasist flat earthers. And guess which camp you're going to be in? The fantasist. So that's it, guys. I think I'm gonna, unless anybody wants to mention something else, I'm gonna wrap up. Nathan, Stephen, Ugdina.
I'm good.
Say again.
I'm good. You can.
Good. Cool. Ugdina, would you like to leave any parting words of wisdom?
Well, I don't have any words of wisdom, but I just would like to say that if we could all be more accepting of one another and for what the way that we live our lives and the way that we want to interact with the world and with the creation, that we all do it the way that is comfortable with us and we don't need to push our beliefs on anybody else. I have never in my entire life of 7 years ever tried to push my religious beliefs on somebody else or told somebody, oh, you're going to be tied at the stake and have honey poured on you and red ants all over you if you don't believe the way I believe. I mean, how silly. It's so silly.
It does.
That's it.
It does. Thank you, Dina. Thank you, Stephen Chairs. Robert Shortman, who was here earlier, a big thank you to him too. And Nathan Oakley, as always, thank you very much, man. And that's it. I'm wrapping up. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you haven't enjoyed this, then what the hell were you doing? You could have just switched off and watched friggin' something else. So, see you soon. And for now, bye-bye.
Bye.
May Gandalf bless you and watch over your steps. Keep the Balrog off your back. Goodbye.